Hey guys, TommyBryson here, and this video is all about 10 lessons about money that people never learn. So it took me about 6 years to learn 10 of these lessons. And before I learned them, I was negative broke. You ever heard about that? That's someone that has a job, but all the money goes towards all the bills, and on top of that, has so much debt to the point where everything is just negative. Negative net worth, negative account balance until he gets paid, and everything is just bad. But once I learned these 10 lessons over those 6 years, well, I have a paid off home. I have $1,000 in monthly passive income from the stock market. These lessons have changed my life, and the goal is to grab these lessons, copy them, practice them, live by them, so it can also help you. And that's the goal for this video. So let's dive into the first one. So the very first lesson is, when it comes to money and personal finance, you don't want to be average, because average in this game sucks, because the average person with money lives paycheck to paycheck, doesn't have $1,000 in the check-ins, and on top of that, doesn't have enough money to retire. I would love to be the average basketball player making hundreds of thousands, but in the personal finance world, this is not what you actually want to be, because it sucks. So you want to be better than everyone else, but because the information and the lessons, they're not shared. So it's not like you have to be 10 times better than the average person. It's more like you have to be like 10 to 20% better, know what they don't know, put it into action, and you will become a lot better than they do and get better results. So watching this video, you're already doing that, but it means reading and learning more about money, because you don't want to be average. And by the way, I just found out while making this video that 80% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and also hit the bell to get notified when I post another video about money and making you money and all that good stuff. Now, lesson 2, guys, is don't work hard for money. Let money work hard for you. Yeah, money can have a job and it can work hard for you. If you grab this money, you earn this money, right? And then you save aside, for example, 20%, you put that money into the stock market. That's passive. Into a real estate property where the tenant pays you money. That's passive. Into a business where you hire people, right, to actually do the work for you. That's also passive. But my grandpa was the complete opposite. He strongly believed, by the way, here's a picture of him. Just kidding. Random guy on the internet. You know, I don't want to put my grandpa out there, blow up his business. But the truth is, my grandpa believed the harder you work, the more you earn. And after 40 years of work, that principle did not work out for him whatsoever. He got a little raise here and there, but it didn't work out overall. So yeah, let money work hard for you. And my advice is, use the income from your earnings to invest more, diversify, and don't interrupt the process. Let money keep working and working and working, and you'll have a lot in the end. The third lesson, guys, is avoid vices. By vices, I mean, for example, gambling, lottery tickets, the women stuff, cigarettes, like all that stuff, bad habits that you really don't need in your life. And you know, my dad, for example, earned a lot of money throughout his life, but his vice was women, and he gave a lot of his money away to women. And in the end, that hurt him, because in the end, he didn't really have anything, because he squandered all of his wealth in a sense. Now, he changed towards the end, so shout out to my dad. But in reality, I saw all the misfortune that he had just because of that. And just like Benjamin Franklin once said, with what it takes to maintain one vice, you can bring up 2 kids, meaning you can raise 2 kids with just the money from one vice. So if you like cigarettes or smoking, for example, with the money you use for that, usually like $2,000 a year, if you invested it over 30 years, you would have $500,000. Here's the math, by the way, not making it up. So avoid vices, avoid this, avoid lottery tickets, avoid gambling. All those things, they don't add to you, they take away from you. That's my advice on that. The fourth lesson is, wanting to do too much is usually not going to be the best thing. So you want to tackle one financial problem at a time. The first problem you want to tackle is your budget. How much do you have coming in? How much do you have going out? What do you need? What don't you need? Cut it out. That's the first thing. Second thing is you want to pay off your debts using the avalanche method. You also want to save your first $1,000 in cash to have that money on the side. Once you're done with that, you want to save for 3 to 6 months worth of emergencies in case something goes wrong. And then you want to start investing 10 to 20% into a retirement account while you also try to buy your first property using the 33% rule, and always keep investing until the very end once you get to that point, but then enjoy the rest of your money. Don't worry, I know this is a lot, and that's why it's included in the description down below, so you can actually follow these things step by step, but just one problem at a time. If you try to pay off debt, invest, save for emergencies, and buy a house and all this stuff, you're not gonna do anything because you're slicing your money way too thin, or what is it? Spreading your money too thin. That's the quote I'm looking for. The fifth lesson that I learned, and by the way, the most important one, is it's better to have a good system so when discipline fails, you have the system to back up discipline. What this means is don't rely on, I am not going to spend money because I said so. Rely on a good system. I struggle with saving and investing. So what did I do? I automated everything. I automated my investments. I automated my savings. And then I also created 3 separate bank accounts, okay? SoFi Money's bank account that I use for receiving my cash when I actually get paid. I have Chase to pay off all of my bills, and then I have Robinhood to use that to buy my fun stuff or spend money on whatever I have. But this way, I never confuse my money. All the money has a job and it's all separated. And by the way, if you want to be even more advanced, what you can do is talk to HR, Human Resources, and ask them to split your paychecks, auto invest into retirement plans, and this way everything is done even before you get your paycheck, and that is even better. But have a good system in place so you don't have to rely on you being very disciplined, because discipline fails at some point. It always does, but systems usually they don't, unless you mess it up or unless it fails. But yeah, you got my point. Now, the 6th lesson that I learned, 6 through 10 are more life-based, but they're just, if not even more important than the first 5. But the 6th lesson is, it's never too late to get started. I always hear, Tommy, I'm too old, or I wasted too much time, I don't have enough this, or whatever. You know, my favorite quote ever is,
if you think investing is risky, wait till you get the tab for not investing. See, it's all risky.
It makes sense, okay? So wherever you are right now in life, whether you're in your 20s, in your 30s, or 50s or 60s, starting right now is best. It's better to make a change now, decide right now, than to never change what you need to change and to actually try to improve your life. Now, the 7th lesson, guys, is choose your friends wisely. Your parents said this all the time. Tell me who you're with or who you're hanging around with, and I'll tell you who you'll become in life. It's very true. A study showed that you earn the average of your 3 closest friends. If you hang around with losers, most likely you're gonna be a loser. Like when you think about Kobe Bryant, you think this guy hanged around with losers that don't practice, that don't play basketball correctly and all that stuff? The answer is no. He hanged around and practiced with people that had the same ambition as he did, okay? That's the idea. So pick your friends wisely. It's the most important thing ever. Am I telling you break up with your best friend? The answer is no. But diversify your time so when you spend time with the people that you want to be more like. And if you don't know those people physically, find them in books. They write books. So read them and get to know them like through a book. And that way you learn a lot from them. Now, the 8th lesson is join a community. Now, this means, for example, I know this lesson is kind of crazy, but you can't do this whole thing alone. So you have Facebook, you have Reddit, you have YouTube, you have meetup groups, okay? The idea is join a community of people that are after what you're after. This way, you're not always trying to explain yourself to people that just don't get it or don't think what you want to do is actually possible and get frustrated, honestly. So when you hang around with people, whether it's online, physically, in person, or whatever it is, that they know what you want to do, they're on board with you, that's going to give you a lot more energy to keep going. And it's also great because you also get to learn from their mistakes, they learn from yours, and this way you can avoid a lot of disasters. Trust your boy. It's important stuff. Now, the 9th lesson is be nice to yourself, okay? So one big thing I see is people make mistakes, They get into crazy debt, for example, they buy something stupid, or they misspend money, or they have to use their emergency account, and all of a sudden, they are the worst people ever to themselves. The answer is no. You will make mistakes. This is a long-term thing. It's a marathon, so it will take time. There will be mistakes, but the whole idea is when you make a mistake, don't get me wrong here, don't beat yourself up, but pick yourself up, notice what you did, make adjustments, and just try not to do it again. That's the idea. But again, be nice to yourself, because this way you're more likely to continue with all the good, important stuff when it comes to making more money and investing and everything else. The 10th lesson is don't take advice from anyone. Okay, so this kind of sounds weird because I just gave you a bunch of advice, but it's true. You know, don't just take advice from someone that you just met on the internet, like me, for example, maybe, but listen to what they say. Be skeptical about it, and then go ahead and research it, practice it, put it into action on a small scale, and then you verify it. That's the most important thing. When I read something in a book, it wasn't like, okay, he said this, I'm going to do it. The answer is no. I try to see, does that person have the life that I want? And if the answer is no, I might not do that. Or I might take this piece and I might leave this part. You might have these 10 lessons, but you might only have one that you really connect with. That's the rule, okay? That's the truth. So take advice, right? But don't take advice. Does that make sense? It doesn't. But it makes sense when you make it make sense. There you go. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this actually helped you a ton. And it took me 6 years to learn all these lessons, and I still struggle with them. I still try to apply them every single month, but the answer is it's tough. It takes hard work, but you got to keep going. It is a marathon. As always, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified, comment down below any question. Thanks for watching. More videos here. My face is here. Long-term team officially out.